Hi, Wayne here, and this is my unboxing and installation video for the Aventon Pace 500.3. Oh, I knew it was going to happen eventually. Take out accessory from here. Gonna pause the video just for a second. I want to point out that those white tabs that I'm removing from the bottom of the box, that enables you to simply pull the box up and over from the bottom now instead of cutting it and ruining the box. In that rare instance that you might have to return the bike for any reason, this will help you save on buying another box. You won't have to, you can reuse this box. So good going, Aventon. Take a look. No more styrofoam. Aventon is using all paper, including like paper strings to tie up everything. I don't even need the clippers anymore, so let's get rid of those. Thinking about the environment, Aventon. Good job. Okay, so here is the accessory kit box, included with the Pace 500.3. Let's check it out. All right, so you have some stickers, some more stickers, owner's manual, reflectors, toolkit, pretty nice. You got your pedals, charger, wrench. This is always nice. They give you this wrench to tighten down the wheel and everything. So this is really cool to have. Some grease, good for your chain, spare parts. Yep, going to be some lug covers and screws and a couple other pieces. So some extra stuff there. And then this works with the reflectors. So, okay, nice toolkit or accessory kit. Okay, so now we're going to install the front handlebar to the stem, the front tire with the disc brake. That'll take care of that side. Then we're going to mount the pedals. And Aventon also sent a rear rack that I'm going to install. And fenders. So we're going to do all that right now. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is remove this piece right here because we no longer need it. So you'll see everything on here is a little bit loose, which is a good thing for now. You just have to remember to go back and tighten it all up. Put the handlebar on the stem, then tighten everything down, and I'm going to start right here on the stem. Okay, so now you're going to want to tighten up the stem a little bit on each side, straighten out the stem, and then tighten it all down. Okay, to prepare for the front tire install, what we have to do is raise the bike up a little bit. It'd be easier if you have somebody to work with you, but like me, you may be alone, so you're just going to raise it up the best you can, knock this plastic piece out. It's not screwed in, it's just pressed in, so you're just going to push it out. And this right here, you're going to pull this little plastic piece out that's in between the brake pads for protection and shipping. What you're going to do is you're going to place the tire and wheel in there. This disc is going to fit between the brake pads. So you're going to do that very carefully. Just try to line it up and then rest the forks on the studs of the wheel and screw it back down. So let's do that now. Make sure you loosen those bolts on each side of the wheel so you have space to put the wheel onto the forks. And there we go. All we have to do is tighten this up now, so pretty easy. To tighten the wheel up, you can use the Aventon supplied wrench, 15mm part right here or here, whichever part is easier for you, and just clockwise on each side. Okay, so we have the pedals, a right and a left. Notice the arrow, the right side pedal goes clockwise to tighten it up, and on the left side you're going to turn it counterclockwise. Also, down here it shows you which way with an arrow to screw the pedal in. And when you're ready to tighten it up at the end, you can use the wrench again that Aventon has supplied. It is going to be the 15mm part. So let's go ahead and get these pedals on. So do the same thing now on the left pedal, but remember to turn it counterclockwise. Okay, so if that's all you got with the bike, now that the pedals are on, you should be ready to go. Just make sure that you check the air in the tires and everything's nicely tightened down and adjusted just right for you. Make sure the battery has a full charge, and then you can get out there and ride. But Aventon sent a rear rack and fenders for this bike, so I'm going to put those together now, and then I'll make sure everything's nice and tight. Okay, if you ordered the bike and you got the front and rear fender and the rear rack, a few things you need to know before getting started. So one, you're going to want to take this piece off, okay? Just slide it off. You put that back on later. Another is there is a screw underneath here that you're going to want to remove. So it's like right underneath, there's a plate. And you're going to want to remove that too and have it ready to put back in a little later. And the third thing is I found that this piece right here, this bend, it bent out a little bit more like this, and I had to bend it up a little to get it to fit underneath there just right. So let's go ahead and start sliding this in. Set it on the rear tire, and then just slide it past this part here in between, and then go down, and I'm going to bring the camera in a little closer so you can see the next step. Before pushing the fender all the way down underneath that last panel where you're going to connect it to, this piece, you're going to take it back now and place it in this open area here and slide it back on. That way it fits underneath, because you're going to want to screw it in later. Okay? So now we're going to slide this piece all the way down and screw it in. Alright, you're going to push this piece underneath that plate there and then line up the hole with the bracket on the fender and take your screw and screw it back in from underneath. I installed the fender first without putting this bracket on. This would have been a lot easier if I would have installed this first, then the rest. So I'm going to do it a little bit backwards, so don't worry. If you're a dummy like me, there is a way to get this on. So what you're going to do is take that little silver bracket, lift the fender up, and just slide it over so that it lines up with the holes there. And then all you really need to do is get one of these started. So I'm going to line that up a little bit. Take this screw here, put it in, get it started just a little bit. There. Now you can lift that up, slide this under. That's why you want to screw it in just a little bit so you can still fit that part in. Take your other screw and get it going. There we go. Now all we have to do is take out these two bolts back here, one on each side, one here, and one, I don't want to cross the camera here, but one there, and screw that down, and the rear fender will be done. Okay, don't forget about this piece that we slid on here. We got to raise it up. Take your screw, and you can start it off finger tightening it, and then once you get it going, take your wrench and tighten it up, and that will be it for this bracket. All right, let's get the front fender ready. We're going to put this little silver piece in over these holes, line them up. Get one of these screws in the little bracket that they give you together, and just kind of get it started, barely get it started. That way you can slide this piece under it. Now, it's going to need to go like this. So fit this under right here. And this is why we're leaving it kind of loose. So we can fit that under there. And then take the second screw and go ahead and get it started. Once you have those started, you can kind of tighten them down a little bit, but leave them on the loose side because you're going to need to maneuver this piece around. So yeah, just leave it dangling like that. So all right, we're ready to put this piece on the front tire. Going to want to remove this piece too, so this little rubber piece. Let's do it. Okay, so for the front fender, you're going to take this washer and this screw, slide it together, and put it right through the front there. Okay, go ahead and slide your fender in and over that stud there, that screw. Take a washer and nut and place it on there. Just do some quick finger tightening on it. All right, so now you're going to want to remove this screw right here on each side of the bike. You can reuse or use the new ones that it came with. Bring this up, line it up, tighten it up. Don't overdo it because you're going to have to make some adjustments. Do the same thing on the other side. Tighten everything up and the front fender is done. Okay, let's install the rear rack. I have it laid out in a way that I think will make things a little quicker for you to install. This is the part that goes towards the bike seat. That's the back of the bike. These arrows are pointing towards you while you're installing it. The screws, I've went ahead and taken all the screws and laid them out. The small screws get the larger washers, while the longer screws get the smaller washers. And I just went ahead and put them on to make things a little quicker. So, okay. So this part is going to mount onto the right side. Flip it over. I'm going to line up these holes here. And then we start with the smaller screws. Okay, for the next step, you're going to want to remove these screws. There's one on each side of the bike. You're going to replace it with the medium screws that came with the rack. Okay, so with the arrows pointing forward, you're going to now take the medium screws and washer and you're going to tighten this down a little bit. Not too much because you're going to have to make some slight adjustments to level it off and then tighten everything down. Get it started, then move on to the other side. So you want to leave it loose enough that you can move this still so that you can adjust everything just right. So next what you're going to want to do is take the longest screw and washer and you're going to want to line this part up now. Feed it through. Put the nut on the other side. You'll want to tighten this down just enough so that you can adjust everything to where you need it to be and then tighten it all down from there. So the next part is going to be to tighten this part down. Now I have my bike on a rack and the seat's in the way, so I'm going to have to take it to the ground and remove the seat and then tighten both of these down. This first one I can get to with no problem, so I'll go ahead and do that. And then next I'll take it down and tighten up this one and move on to the last step. So for the last step, you're going to remove these two screws from this bracket and you're going to put the bracket on and tighten it down, and that will be it. Okay, now that I've taken those parts off of the bracket, I'm going to put the bracket back on and I'm going to fit this just right, line it up, and screw them back in. And you are done with the rear rack. Okay, once everything's put together, make sure you got everything nice and tight. Go back over everything. Make sure you have a full charge in the battery, that the tires are properly inflated, and handlebars nice and lined up. After you're done with all that, you should be ready to go.